Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and this is a 5-minute review of Deadpool 2 from 2018. The film stars Ryan Reynolds, Josh Brolin, Morena, Baccarin, Zazie, Beetz, TJ Miller, Brianna, Hildebrand, Eddie Marsan, Stefan, Kapicic as the voice of Colossus. You've also got people like Terry Crews, Brad Pitt, Alan Tudyk, Matt Damon, a whole bunch of other people that have really small parts and yet are really, really funny. This film is from the same directing and writing team as the first Deadpool. It's directed by David Leitch and it's written by Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick and Ryan Reynolds. All of this, of course, is based upon the character of Deadpool that was created by Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza for Marvel Comics. The Merc with a Mouth, Deadpool, the unkillable, really gobshite, really annoying mutant who had a lot of pockets on his costume. After the first Deadpool film, which was such a huge runaway success, and it took so long to come out, especially that Ryan Reynolds had been working on it behind the scenes for over a decade, trying to get it made, and it kept getting close and never quite happening, and they didn't want to make it an R-rated film and all this sort of stuff. So eventually it came out and it was a smash hit. Then fast forward a couple of years, now we've got the second film. Things have changed with Marvel being bought by Disney and all this kind of thing. We wonder if there's going to be a third film. There again, given the success of the second one, I think it's inevitable to just let them get on with it and keep making the same kind of film. So how does it compare to the first film, which was really action-packed and absolutely hilarious? It was stuffed full of in-jokes, and can they do it a second time? I'll get the sort of negative thing out of the way first because there isn't much to say that is in terms of bad for this film. They use the old, tried, tested and true and slightly outdated concept of having a female character killed to give the male motivation to seek revenge and go on a quest. This isn't quite the scale of John Wick where they killed his dog and have stolen his car. It's not a spoiler to say at the start of the film something bad happens, and thereafter he isn't just hunting down the people that did it, it then becomes something else. But having that right at the start was something that I'd forgotten, so that was a little bit of a shock to the system from when I saw it the first time, because the character that Morena Baccarin plays is such an important part to him, especially with what happened in the first film. And if you've listening to a review of this one, then you must have seen the first film, so you know what happened in that one. Another actor that I should definitely mention is Julian Dennison. He's a New Zealand actor who you've previously seen probably in Hunt for the Wilder People, the Taika Waititi film, and he's the main lead in this alongside Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Josh Brolin as Cable. He's a young troubled mutant who is in danger. He's going to be killed because in the future he's done something very, very bad and Cable is sent back through time to prevent it. The humour in this film is as good as the first one, if not better. It is stuffed full of jokes for those who know the material and also those who don't. There are lots of visual gags. He breaks the fourth wall many times. There's all these hidden clues and little things, like in the first film, they make a joke about the fact that they can't afford other X-Men and that the mansion is completely deserted. There's a nice payoff for that in this film. There's other little hints just of things like Ryan Reynolds is using the Cerebro helmet and he says something like, oh, it smells like Patrick Stewart. So there's lots of those kind of jokes as well that are also breaking the fourth wall. And before there's a big CGI fight, he says something like that. So there's all sorts of cool things. There's poking fun at the creators, at Marvel, the characters, the other actors. Ryan Reynolds is not above poking fun of himself for some of the decisions that he's made in the past, and that comes up several times in this. So everybody is fair game, and that shows it, the fact that he's willing to really have a go at his own choices. Despite the fact that it's mostly a comedy with lots of action thrown in, Josh Brolin plays it completely straight because you have to have a straight man. Cable is this seriously hardcore warrior and soldier from the future who's been sent back in time to prevent this disaster. He doesn't like Deadpool, he doesn't like any of his jokes, he's really, really tough, he can't really be killed, and he will do everything in his power to take out this kid, no matter the cost. And of course, this is the character that Deadpool is trying to protect. This film makes fun of the DC universe as well as the Marvel comics and all of the other characters therein, which is quite nice to see. It talks about the increasingly dark version of films and superheroes that seems to have come out from certain areas. That's still continuing, to be fair, in some places, like the Zack Snyder recut of Justice League and things like that. The action scenes and the choreography in this film is pretty incredible. Some of the deaths that people suffer are extremely painful just to look at, and also some of them are incredibly funny. Whether it's other superheroes who are there for a little bit and then don't make it, or it's just some of the thugs that they fight. All of the special effects and the CGI is incredible. It looks very realistic and very painful, except when it's not supposed to, and then it looks quite comedic and funny, which is all in keeping with the whole mood of the film, that it never takes itself completely seriously, except for in a couple of key moments that are really important emotionally, and at those points, everybody buys into it, whether they were a silly character, whether they were just a straight character, perhaps, like Cable. The film walks a very difficult line because on the one hand it's a comedy, but on the other hand you're supposed to care about the characters and at least wonder about their fate. So it's quite delicate, and I think it pulls it up for the most part. There are a couple of times when they break the fourth wall that perhaps it was just once too often that you can't then care about the emotional moments because you've just been laughing 30 seconds ago. So that kind of seesaw or zigzag approach works most of the time, but not always. Maybe it's just because it's the second film and I'm more used to the rhythms of it, or maybe it was just that this script wasn't quite as punchy as the first one. I'm not really sure which it is. The heart of this film is really the relationship between Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, and Fire Fist, played by Julian. This is the young mutant who's in trouble, and he's trying his best to help him, but of course, nobody really takes Deadpool seriously, so he has to do some things that he finds uncomfortable and that we haven't really seen him do in the first film. But there's still lots of opportunities for him to act out, be silly, make jokes at other people's expense, and kill a lot of people, which is why we showed up for this kind of film. So overall, where does that leave me? I think the film is excellent. I think it has fantastic action scenes. I think the actors all give brilliant performances. The story is good, if slightly predictable in places, but everybody commits, so that was really good. The CGI I thought was fantastic, but there are a couple of moments perhaps that stop it from being absolutely perfect for me, despite all the good things that I've said about it. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 and say it's good. I'll definitely watch a third one in the franchise, but I think that could be the last one for me because it's starting to wear a little thin and it's difficult to reinvent Deadpool and do something because he is a little bit one note, especially in the comics, which is why I got tired and stopped reading them so long ago. So have you seen Deadpool 2? If so, get in touch and let us know. You can contact us on email, Facebook, or on Twitter. We're on Ko-fi if you'd like to support this channel there. We'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with another episode.